Yoel Romero.
Your boy Yoel Romero.
Yeah, because you know what? I didn't know this. There are two Cubanos together.
Yeah.
Because last time I saw Joey, he was telling me some things about Yoel Romero, saying, you got to watch this guy, Mike. You got to watch him. This guy that he's with, he's a fucking killer. He's a fucking killer, Mike, okay? You got to watch this guy. Straight for fucking Goodfellas, Mike. He'll fuck you up. He'll fuck you up. I was like, all right, relax. Jesus Christ. It's a bit of playful trash talk. He's like, nah, Mike. This guy will fuck you up. I'm like, all right, cool. So what did y'all say on the podcast? Did you catch any of it?
I didn't. I watched a little bit of him on Rogan. With Joey like translating, it was kind of interesting. It's just a little bit hard to follow. Like I don't speak Spanish, and
were they speaking Spanish? Does Joey speak Spanish?
Yeah, Joey speaks Spanish, so he was sort of translating, and Romero was doing sort of like broken English. It was interesting, dude. Romero, dude, very humble beginnings, dude. Cuba, like that story is very interesting. And getting to the Olympics, he talked about how like the better you got, the better they gave you like living conditions. It was fucking pretty interesting overall. If you didn't hate him, I think you should be friends with him.
Hey, listen, I don't hate Yoel Romero at all. Not in one little bit, and I wish him the best. And I actually find him to be a very interesting character. I do, and I will try and check out that podcast and give it a listen. Because listen, when you're a competitor, you're gonna fight somebody, especially in the fucking UFC or in boxing. Okay, then And there's a few things said back and forth. It's all in the spirit of combat, or of competitiveness, should I say. And, of course, when somebody's got a history with steroids, and, of course, I've fought a lot of guys with steroids, I'm going to be vocal about that. Now, that ruffles the feathers of the person that was apparently guilty of taking steroids, and it creates this tension, this bad blood, if you will, and we kind of get caught in this cycle of talking shit back and forth. I've never sat down with Yoel Romero and had a conversation. I'm sure, by all accounts, he's a very, very nice guy. And if we met under different circumstances, just like a lot of these people that beef with, like Luke Rockhold, I'm sure, listen, I'm really good friends with DC. Daniel Cormier is a fantastic human being, and he classes Luke Rockhold as one of his best friends. So what does that tell me? Either tells me that DC's out of his mind and is a bad judge of character, or, which is probably more likely, that Rockhold is a good guy, but we've just met under circumstances that would never allow us to be friends in the first place. Number one, you're not looking to be friends with your opponents. Number two, you're trying to knock each other out. Number three, you're trying to get a psychological advantage. Put all those things together, and personalities don't always blend, then you're going to have problems. Now, going back to Yoel Romero, I've got nothing against the guy. I don't know if he feels the same way about me, or our paths were destined to cross at one point. We had him calling to the radio show that time, and he was kicking off and screaming and shouting, and I asked him to spell steroid and stuff like that. We had a lot of fun. I'm sure that helped generate the bad blood. But if you are listening, Yoel Romero, I love you. I love you, Mike. Yoel.
I'm actually really impressed with your Joey Diaz impression. Might be the best one. So you do a pretty good Yoel. Your Joey is great. Your GSP is unparalleled.
Intoxicated. Recently we had to do impressions on UFC Tonight, and I was kind of pissed off because it was me and Kenny Florian, and Kenny's a great guy, by the way. Kenny is absolutely hilarious, and it's always a fun time working with him. And there was like a segment called Shot Caller, and we had to, we talked about a certain fighter, and when it was my turn, I had to do an impression, and when it was Kenny's, he had to do the impression. I'm sure you can follow. It's not the hardest plot. Anyway, he gets GSP, Nate Diaz, and Conor McGregor. Now, I'm not being funny. They're the easiest impressions to do in all of MMA, so I was kind of pissed off. Right? They're easy, right?
Well, we've heard your GSP. Let's hear your Nate Diaz.
Hey, man, I just go out there, smoke weed, man. I don't know. I can't really do an impression, man. That's what's up. I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
All right. It was...
It's all right. Anyway, whatever. You get
it wasn't great, Mike.
It wasn't great. Well, you do one.
All right, let me see. So I just, the only person I really respect is my brother Nick Diaz. Shout out to the 209, smoking weed,
That's what's up. All right. He's going to sound like a goat.
It's just a little like fucking grunting.
He's going to sound like a goat that speaks English. Man. Anyway, you get the idea of the game. And I got, guess who I got given?
Who?
First off, Dominic Cruz.
That's not even. He doesn't have anything about his voice that you could do.
He doesn't have any outlandish characters that you could portray. Exactly. I got Dominic Cruz. Who were the other ones? I can't remember. Oh, and also Kenny got Alistair over him. Who's he's very easy to intimidate. Impersonate. That sounds like Kermit the Frog. So my apologies, Alistair.
No, Alistair always says like he throws like an SH in like where it doesn't need to be. He's like, I'm very good friends with Michael Bisping.
Yeah, but that's because he's Dutch. He's smoking the pancake.
There you go. Smoking the pancake.
Smoking the pancake. Anyway, I got Dominic Cruz. Oh, I got Dominic Cruz, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, and then someone else. I got the most three generic, bland, vanilla type people ever. By the way, I'm talking about their voices, not personalities or people. Before you all get your knickers in a twist. But anyway, I digress. What were we talking about? Yoel Romero.
Yoel.
Was it?
Yeah. That was a nice little That was a nice little ADD journey down the minds of Luis Gomez and Michael Bisping. Yoel Romero, I think, officially booked, right? Is that officially for UFC 225? No, not official.
Robert Whittaker.
Rumored?
I don't know if it's official. I've seen it reported on several websites. Generally, when you see things reported on websites, and I know this is going to come as a big shocker, it generally means that they're true. Yeah, that's why they get reported, Michael. The point what I'm making is that when these things break unofficially, because what happens is UFC calls someone. Let's say me, for example. Mike, yo, what's up, Mike? It's Dana fucking White, bro. We're going to fight for you. That's what Dana White is terrible. But he'll say, Mike, you versus whoever. Don't tell anyone, though, because we want to announce it. So I'll say, okay, I won't announce it. But, of course, they've got to tell the opponent. So the opponent, they'll say, don't say anything, bro. And he won't say anything either. But on top of that, I call my coaches. And I'll say, yo, 10 weeks, I'm fighting such and such. And let's say Luke Rockhold or Yoel, whoever, they tell their coaches. And their coaches tell their wives. And before you know it, it's got out and everybody knows. You know what I mean? So if the websites are reporting that it's Yoel versus Robert Whittaker, which isn't really big news because we know that fight's happening anyway, then I think it's safe to say that is a surefire bet.
I guess Yoel also said it on Joe Rogan's podcast yesterday, so he let the cat out of the bag himself.
There you go.
You're the only guy, and you do this all the time. You come to the show and you'll be like, "Oh, I got this fight," and you'll tell us, and then you are very strict about not letting them know, and you let. But I watch guys all the time just fucking say it like it's nothing. They tweet it out. They don't give a shit. You need to fucking be.
Well, you have to respect the process, though, because at the end of the day, the UFC are trying to promote things to the fullest, and they want to promote things with a bang. If it's going to be a big fight, they want it. They want, all right, maybe some hardcore people know about it. Some people on the inside might know about it, but the general masses, they want to divulge it at a press conference. They want to make a big splash, and people go, "Whoa, shit, we didn't see that one coming," and then it makes a lot of press. It gets a lot of headlines, and a lot of people find out about the fight. If it just gets organically released, it doesn't have quite the same impact. And I try and respect that because you want, as a fighter, all your fight cards to do good business because it reflects on you. Okay, so Yoel versus Rockhold. Do you want the Michael Bisping, believe you me, big brown breakdown?
I don't think it's the big brown breakdown anymore. It's now below the belt, right? The belt. Which I don't want to, I will say I did have a show on Sirius XM.
Don't say and then backtrack.
I'm not
backtracking. What was on your mind, Lewis? Don't be a little bitch.
I had a show on Sirius XM a couple years ago before the countdown, precursor to the countdown, called "Believe You Me" with Luis J. Gomez.
You did really?
Not "Believe You Me." I'm sorry. God, I'm dumb.
I'm gonna say no, you didn't.
No,
you had
below the belt. Below the belt, yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. Interesting. I don't know where to go with that information. No. So what are you saying? Are you saying that he's copied?
No, I'm saying that neither of us are that creative.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Te voy a quemar a ti y a tu bandera por faltarle respeto a mi bandera. I am your big ticket, boy. Yo voy a hacer tu pesadilla, brother.